everybody and welcome back to the channel, and if you're here for the very first time, it is lovely to meet you. I'm Jane and my husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, we have no debt, we've paid off the mortgage and we live a thrifty, frugal and money saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Friday we bring you something food related. Sometimes it's a shopping haul, sometimes it's a meal prep or some meal planning, and sometimes I cook something for you. Now, I can't eat gluten and we're trying our very best to drastically reduce the amount of sugar that we eat. Yet every now and then, with a cup of tea in the afternoon, I do fancy a tiny treat. So this week, and we're going to show you what I've made here, I have made, and this is a carrot cake tray bake, and these are chocolate brownies. And today I'm going to show you how I made them. So let me give you the ingredients for the two things I'm going to cook today, which is going to be a carrot cake and chocolate brownie, essentially. So to make my chocolate brownie, I have got 2 apples. I'm going to cut these into pieces and cut the core out. I will, of course, wash them first. You can, if you wish, peel them. I don't peel them because I have a very powerful blender. I've got half a cup of unsweetened cocoa and 2 free-range eggs. And that's all the ingredients for one brownie. And that gets cooked in a microwavable pot. You can use a glass pot. I know some of you are sniffy about any form of plastic. This is the safe kind of plastic that IKEA make that is safe to cook, to have food in. Or of course, you know, if you're fussy about that, cook it in glass. Now, the other one is carrot cake. And this is gluten-free. So I have got oats, and I have got 2 cups of oats that I will put in the blender to become an oat flour. I've then got 1 cup of grated carrots, and I would add in 1 cup of applesauce. So this applesauce, I don't want to open up the whole jar for 1 cupful. So this is the same. So this is a pomme puree, which is like this. This is pomme puree, pureed apple, and this has got prunes in as well. I did look at the sugar content, so they haven't added any sugar, but all fruit naturally has sugar. So this is 15% sugar per 100 grams. So is this. So I think this might have a little bit more sweetness to it because of the prunes, but if you've got applesauce, just add applesauce. In my sachet, I have 1 teaspoon, 11 grams, about 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and I will also add in 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and 2 eggs, and that's that. So first of all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to add this to my high-speed blender, and you'll see it, and I'll bring it back, and it will be a flour. So here are my oats that I've put in the high-speed blender, and you can see that they are all powdered to a flour. It's empty. I'm then going to add in my cinnamon. I'm just going to add in 1/2 teaspoon. You can add in more. I'm going to add in my sachet of baking powder and give that a good stir. I'm then going to add in my carrots. Now my applesauce comes in pots of 100 grams, and a cupful is 250 grams. So I'm going to add in a pot, 2 pots and a half. And just for the fun of it, I will put the other half a pot in with my brownies when I show you. I don't want that to go to waste, and I don't think it will hurt the brownie. I think it will actually make it softer and gooier. That one's empty. And if you're worried about the plastic pots, France is awesome at recycling, and our local area here turns burnable waste into electricity. By the magic of science, I don't quite know how. So I wash the pots out. That's about half a pot, and the others will go in there. And then I'm going to add my 2 eggs and stir it all together. Get it in a lined tray and get it in my oven. My oven is heating at 180 degrees centigrade, which I believe is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And there's one more ingredient, I have to forget one ingredient, don't I, that I need to get out, which is the added sweetness, which is half a cup of raisins. So I will get those and add them in. So here's my half a cup of raisins, or they could be sultanas. They're a nice golden colour, made from French grapes. They've got plenty of grapes here in France. So I'll give it a really good stir, and I will get that into my baking tray. And this is going to bake for around 30 minutes. Obviously check it halfway through, and at the end of the 30 minutes, I'll then check. So it's got a lovely, I've forgotten something else. Something else I really do like to put in both brownies and into carrot cake is a drop of vanilla essence, or vanilla extract in this case. And this is going to be half a teaspoon. I'm very careful with it because it does contain sugar. And its whole point of this is it's to be a sugar-free cake. So I've got half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Let's give it a really good stir. And then I'll get it into the baking tray and into the oven. It's not like TV, is it? They would cut and get more ingredients out and start again. Well, I don't have more ingredients. This is a thrifty kitchen. We don't like to waste anything at all. I'm looking at this thinking that it'll go in here. So I have lined my baking tray. Can't see what size that is in inches. I don't know what size that is. It's about 20 centimetres by 20 centimetres. Let's get my ingredients all in there. Don't worry about anything on the table. It's all been scrubbed clean. So that is ready to go into the oven. And that I could cut quite easily, I don't know, into 10 or more pieces. I reckon I could cut that into 12 pieces. And it freezes well, so I cool it. I then make sure I cut it up before, cut it up, and in the pieces when it's cold, I freeze it. And then we can just take out a couple of pieces when we want it and have it in the afternoon with a cup of tea. Anyway, let's get this into the oven. Now, let's just cook my brownies. So all that's in here are is the residue of the oats. We don't need to worry about that. I'm going to put 2 eggs in here. So I'm aiming to put the wettest ingredients at the bottom. I've got my 50 grams of applesauce with prunes that was left over. So I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to add that in as well. Might make it a bit wetter, I hope not. I will then add in my cocoa powder. And then I'm going to add in a drop of vanilla. Always goes well in brownies. Again, not much because this has some sugar in it and I'm aiming for this to be sugar-free. And then I've got my apples, peel and all. This is a super powerful blender and I will blend it up, add it to my pot and then show you that I will microwave it. So here are the ingredients all blended. I don't put anything in my pot at all. Microwaving it, it kind of shrinks away from the sides. You could make this as individual cupcakes. You could put each one of them into a small teacup and then you could serve it as an individual dessert. You could maybe pour some Greek yogurt on the side with this. This is really good, warm as well. The difficult part of this is getting it out. The first bit pours out perfectly and the rest you've got to coax it out. I don't like to waste it. Come on, out you come. Apples are not cheap. There you go. I think that's the best I'm going to do. Now, this I'm going to put in the microwave. I'll clean that up in a moment. This I'm going to put in the microwave for about 10 minutes. But I'm going to check it every, get the bubbles out. I'm going to check it every 2 or 3 minutes. And I check it by pressing down on it to see if it's cooked. And when it's cooked, I stop microwaving it. So you're going to ask me, can you freeze these? I absolutely do freeze these. I just freeze them in my Tupperware box. And then if I think that we might fancy one with a cup of tea, I'll take them out the freezer. I'll take a couple out and we will have one each with a cup of tea. There's about 15 grams of carbohydrates in each one. I would say with the chocolate brownies, they're not sweet at all, but they are intensely chocolatey. So if you are like me and you like your dark chocolate to be at least 70% cocoa solids and you like that chocolate hit, you will love these. If you like milk chocolate, my suggestion to you, and if you're not too worried about sugar content, is instead of using 2 apples, use 2 bananas. Use 2 bananas instead. Or use 2 sweeter apples, maybe a crispy sort of pinkish apple if you want. But surprisingly, the carrot cake is surprisingly sweet. The carrots are sweet, the apple sauce has a natural sweetness to it, and of course the raisins in there are sweet too. Let me know if you try it, let me know what you think about it. Thank you so much for watching. The ingredients, the recipe, everything I've already written up for you, and that is in the description box below. Thanks again, see you soon. Bye for now.